I've made videos on free first-person and third-person shooters on Steam, but not a video on shooters of an unspecified point of view. If a game's got shooting in it, it's eligible for this video. Here are the top 5 free shooters on Steam you don't know about. Deathly Stillness is a third-person shooter all about killing zombies. First, we have to pick our character. Perfect, just what I needed for zombie killing. The game has 3 maps you can choose from which serve as levels, and 2 different rifle options to choose from. The goal is to kill all of the zombies in the map without dying. The game is actually fairly slow paced, which I really liked. I thought it would be more like a Left 4 Dead style game, but it's much more precise than that. The game really emphasizes headshots as they're always a one-hit kill. Getting headshots is also key to saving ammo, as ammo pickups are fairly rare. Sound is a big factor, as shooting will alert other zombies around you, and they don't just walk, they Usain Bolt straight towards you. The sounds of the zombies really heighten the tension, especially while indoors, as you can hear zombies are close but don't necessarily know where they are. It nails the feeling of tension, as you're very vulnerable when you have to reload, especially since you only have the one weapon on you. There's no health pickups either, so you have to be very careful not to get bum rushed. The game would benefit from having more maps, guns, and potentially zombie types, but what's here is really fun. The tension feels very much like a playable Walking Dead. If you're looking for a tense zombie shooter where every shot counts, then I recommend Deathly Stillness. Sherwood Extreme is a third-person shooter where you platform your way through medieval levels with a crossbow. The levels are meant to be played through quickly, as they're very linear, allowing you to speed through the various enemy goblins. You can jump, bounce, swing, and zipline your way through the levels, all while utilizing slow-mo if you aim down your sights in mid-air. The one flaw control-wise is the bouncy platforms will take away a lot of your mobility, which makes them feel clunky. The enemies themselves are generally pretty easy, as they're meant to be killed for points, but there are a few stronger variants that put up a decent challenge. Throughout the level there are gems you collect from killing enemies, as well as the gems you get from the chests at the end of every level. After each level you're awarded a score based on your kill points, which combo together if you get multiple kills in quick succession, your time, and how much health you have left. You can then spend the gems you collected on upgrades for your character, like this minigun crossbow I enjoyed using. The different enemy types and levels make each combat encounter different, as you try to balance going fast while still racking up points for the most impressive runs. If you're looking for a score chasing game all about speed, then I recommend Sherwood Extreme. Perdition is an FPS with movement-based gunplay and environmental storytelling. You play as James Beckett, who's fighting against an army of aliens to avenge his loved ones. There's a fair amount of weapons that all feel good to use, and each one has a regular fire and alternate fire that is more powerful but uses more ammo. You have a double jump and 3 dash charges to help you maneuver around the battlefield. Whenever one of your guns runs out of ammo, instead of reloading, you throw it at an enemy and look for a new one to pick up. The game tries to be fast-paced, as enemies will drop health pickups when they die and overdrive fuel to incentivize movement, but there were generally too few enemies for me to be on the edge of my seat. Once you collect enough overdrive, you can activate it, which makes you do more damage while taking less damage. The game has a lot of style and solid animations and sound design for something that's free. It's a shooter that lets you breathe and take in the world as you go from objective to objective, piecing together the story from the notes left behind. If you're looking for a beautiful shooter with combat that's simple fun, then I recommend Perdition. Snake Force is a top-down shooter where you rescue your squad mates, adding them to the line. The game looks like a straightforward top-down shooter, but friendly fire is on. This means you have to orient your line of soldiers properly, or else they shoot and kill each other instead of the enemy. Every squad mate you add does give you more firepower, but increases the risk of shooting your other squad mates. Killing your squad mates wouldn't be too big of a deal, except you have to have a certain amount of squad mates alive in order to finish the level. You can even kill your squad mates that you haven't even rescued yet. Whoops! It was honestly a lot harder trying not to shoot my squad than it was to kill the actual enemies. You can turn on slow-mo, which is almost necessary to get past certain points. but I liked the challenge of the game overall. Each of the game's levels are well designed, having environmental elements like ramps, explosive barrels, and jump pads that change up the dynamics of combat. If you're looking for a polished top-down shooter with a snake twist, then I recommend Snake Force. Shooting Hurts is an FPS where your projectiles use up your health. Your crosshair at the center of the screen is your health. Whenever you shoot it, it gets smaller, so you have to limit how much you fire before waiting for it to recharge. Your gun can also create platforms which you can both stand on and block projectiles at no cost to your health. Each level is an arena-style gauntlet that focuses on a unique type of enemy. There's the gnats that chase you, the zips that shoot and teleport, and the shooters that spawn in stationary enemies until you destroy the core. Each gauntlet has 4 different difficulty options that add in more of that enemy type while adding hazards like spikes and floating blocks that hurt you. Learning each enemy type requires learning how they attack and how you need to move around to avoid taking damage. There are also cumulative levels which combine all of the enemies into a single gauntlet, putting all of your knowledge and skills to the test. Once you complete the 3 cumulative levels, you unlock the final level which has all of the enemies and the final boss. If you're looking for a fast-paced arena shooter with a unique shooting mechanic, then I recommend Shooting Hurts.
Is mayonnaise an instrument?
Chex Quest HD is basically Doom. It's literally an HD conversion of Doom with a Chex coat of paint. Something clearly got a bit messed up with this HD version, as the enemies oftentimes won't move for a bit, and are just slow in general. The enemies are complete pushovers, especially when you get more powerful weapons. But the weapons don't change up the gameplay at all either, as they all feel the same. Oh, you can also die in cutscenes. Other than the HD coat of paint and some odd one-liners,
looks like this milk has milked its last.
The game has nothing to offer other than the surreal fact that it exists. But I guess if you like cereal, then I recommend Chex Quest HD. I Made a Game with Zombies in It is a top-down shooter where you fight through massive hordes of zombies. It's a twin-stick shooter in its purest form, as the only controls are move and shoot. You just dodge through the various enemy types that don't actually all just consist of zombies, and shoot them obviously. None of the enemies actually change up how you play though, as they all just move towards you. Around the map there are pickups for extra lives, a speed boost, and tons of different weapons. The soundtrack really slaps, especially when you're having an epileptic seizure from the flashing lights, kinda like a rave. If you're looking for a game that's pure twin-stick shooter fun, then I recommend I Made a Game with Zombies in It. Those were the top 5 free shooters on Steam you didn't know about. I'll have my playlist of free Steam games you don't know about linked in the description, as well as my videos on first-person and third-person shooters. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe to keep up with this ongoing series.